Welcome back to Disturbed Reality. Today we will be covering the brutal torture and murder of Ghostrider, a prominent member of Carteles Unidos, otherwise known as the United Cartel. The United Cartel consists of Los Viagras and smaller cartel groups, basically joining forces to battle the brutal onslaught of the infamous CJNG, the New Generation Jalisco Cartel. And currently in Michoacan, a brutal war wages between both factions. But before we talk about the infamous Ghostrider video, I think a little backstory is needed on CJNG, which has arguably become the most infamous cartel in Mexico. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or CJNG, formerly known as Los Matas Zetas, is a semi-militarized Mexican criminal group based in Jalisco, which is headed by Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, also known as Elemencho. The CJNG are involved in numerous criminal rackets, including drug trafficking, primarily cocaine and methamphetamine, as well as stealing crude oil. As of 2020, the CJNG is generally considered by Mexican government to be the most dangerous criminal organization in Mexico and the second most powerful drug cartel in the country after the Sinaloa cartel. The CJNG are currently involved in many wars, including fighting La Nueva Plaza cartel for control of Guadalajara, Jalisco. They are also battling Los Viagras for the state of Michoacan, Los Zetas in the state of Veracruz and the city of Puebla, and the Sinaloa cartel in Baja California, Tijuana. But the most brutal war they're currently fighting is against the United Cartels for control of Aguilera, Michoacan and its surrounding territories. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel was founded in 2009, and they started as one of these splits from the Milenio Cartel, the other split being La Resistencia. The Jalisco Cartel defeated La Resistencia and took control of the Milenio Cartel's smuggling routes. CJNG expanded its operation network from coast to coast in only 6 months, making it one of the criminal groups with the greatest operating capacity in Mexico as of 2012. Currently, along with the armed conflicts, petroleum theft and criminal extortion, the CJNG is also said to have over 100 methamphetamine labs throughout Mexico. Based on the average street values, these volumes could net upwards of 8.1 billion for cocaine and 4.6 billion for crystal meth each year. By 2018, less than 10 years after creation, the CJNG became the second most powerful cartel in Mexico. From 2018 to 2020, the CJNG engaged in 298 reported acts of gang violence, more than any other cartel during this period. By 2020, US counter-drug officials considered the CJNG its biggest criminal drug threat, and Mexico's former security commissioner called the group the most urgent threat to Mexico's national security. One of the CJNG's hallmarks is their militarized approach to the narcos wars. The CJNG are known to have military-grade equipment, including high-caliber assault rifles, sniper rifles, grenades, RPGs, explosive drones, light machine guns, and also the use of armoured trucks. The CJNG also have the ability to create their own weapons, ammunition, and weapon customization, including things such as assault rifles with grenade launchers attached. Not only do CJNG have a wealth of equipment and weaponry, but also elite-level guerrilla warfare training, usually from Guatemalan or Colombian mercenaries, and some even say Israeli commando mercenaries. So the CJNG are extremely well trained, extremely well armed, and essentially they are masters in guerrilla warfare. And when things get really tough, the CJNG have 5 groups of elite level gunmen consisting of former military personnel, police officers and mercenaries. The 5 different groups are known as the following: Elite, Delta, Pantera, Guerrero and Sierra. So basically, when the regular CJNG foot soldiers are struggling in a certain conflict, that's when one of these elite groups are called for their support. Not only are the CJNG well known for their militaristic approach, but also the gruesome tortures and murders of their rivals. Very often these videos are uploaded online to strike fear in their rivals' hearts. Methods of murder and torture include the following: decapitation, flaying, burning alive, limb removal, organ removal, and even rare cases of cannibalism. So all in all, they are a pretty brutal organisation. Let's briefly talk about the leader of CJNG, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, also known as Elemencho. Elemencho currently is the most wanted man in Mexico and one of the most wanted men in the United States. he currently has a 10 million bounty on his head for any information that leads to his arrest. Lazy Western media reports often compare Elemencho to El Chapo, when in reality, the only similarity between these two is that they operate in the Narcos world, but apart from that, they are completely different personalities. El Chapo was a guy who really enjoyed the fame and notoriety involved in being a high-level Narcos boss. El Chapo enjoyed the fame, the money, the parties, the women, the high-level connections with celebrities. El Chapo loved the lifestyle, whereas Elemencho is the complete opposite. He keeps himself to himself, he doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, he rarely attends parties, and he's said to work out at least once a day, and he eats extremely healthily. From all accounts, it appears that he lives a very basic lifestyle. One of Elemencho's passions though is cockfighting, and allegedly he's known to bet 100k at a time on these cockfights. Currently his whereabouts is unknown. Some say that he resides in Jalisco, in the rural area, in the hills, in the mountains, guarded by mercenaries, but that is currently just speculation. But let's talk about Ghostrider. This is where things start to get real. Ghostrider is an infamous cartel torture video that was uploaded by CJNG. The gory act of torture took place in September 2020. It happened near the town of Tepalcatepec in Michoacan. This is where the CJNG are fighting against factions of Los Viagras and the United Cartels. The fighting has gone on and off for several months without any real action from Mexico City or state authorities. Both criminal organisations want control of drug production and transit routes from the Pacific coast into central and northern Mexico to the US border. The infamous Ghostrider video was allegedly recorded following 3 days of gun battles in the nearby town of El Agarji. The fighting took place one day after the Mexican military swept the area as part of a peacekeeping operation and officials declared the area safe. During the 3-day gun battle, it's estimated that at least 20 people died during the shootouts. After the shootouts, gunmen from CJNG captured a leader with the United Cartels who went by the nickname of Ghostrider. Ultimately, as soon as he was captured, his brutal fate was sealed. According to rumours online, Ghostrider was tortured for around 3 days, and he was subjected to some of the most depraved acts of violence you will ever see. And of course the CJNG actually captured some of this torture on video and uploaded it to the internet. And obviously this is the part where I describe what goes down in the video. The video is around 2 minutes long, maybe just over 2 minutes, in and around that time period, and the video starts with Ghostrider already in a bad way. It appears that his face has been flayed, so skinned. That's how it appears anyway. It's always hard to tell because the camera quality isn't always the best, but it looks like his face has been skinned, and what they do from that point is they get rubbing alcohol, put it on his face. Bear in mind his face has been skinned, so that's obviously gonna sting real fucking bad, and then they set it on fire, so his face is covered in flames and literally melting. You can hear the CJNG members laughing and mocking him while this torture is going down. During the video, according to translations, Ghostrider actually begs for his life to be taken and basically to be put out of his misery. So yeah, the video starts after his face has already been skinned, then they set it on fire. You literally see this guy's face melting. He's obviously in agony, screaming in pain, begging for his life to be taken. And as the video continues, it actually skips forwards to later on in the day or in a couple of days' time, however long the time period was. And in the last part of the video, Ghostrider has been tortured and burnt so severely that his whole head is basically like a red skull. There's no skin, there's no hair, there's no features, you can't even see his eyes, all you can really see are his teeth. And that's really it. He's beyond recognition at this point. And somehow throughout all of this, he's still alive. At the end of the video, they tell him to raise his head, and he does that. So yeah, even at the very end of this video, he was still alive, and I've got no idea how anybody can live through that, to be honest. And yeah, once his head is a burnt skull, they actually set it on fire again to make him look like Ghostrider. And according to a couple of translations online, one of the gunmen in the background can actually be heard saying, just like the movie, The Avenger Ghostrider. So yeah, the guy's nickname was Ghostrider, so the CJNG took it upon themselves to make him look like a real life Ghostrider. That's how sick and depraved these individuals are. And yeah, in my opinion, this is one of the worst cartel videos on the internet. It's up there with obviously the Policeman and Son video, Funky Town. I think it's along those lines. I think it's up there with that level of brutality. And I always say to you guys that I wouldn't recommend that you guys search these videos out. Some things just aren't worth seeing, and to me, this is one of the worst cartel videos on the internet. So yeah, take my word for it, do not watch this video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, if you can enjoy this sort of content. And always feel free to say in the comments, you know, cases that you want me to cover. If you guys suggest something that tickles my fancy, potentially I'll make a video on it. So always share your thoughts below. I always appreciate the feedback, always helps me out. So yeah, drop a comment below. Hopefully you liked the video. If you could hit like, if you could hit subscribe, that would be much appreciated. But I'll catch you guys later.